This is just a few, excuse me, 100 meters away from the hospital, and this is where all of the media are waiting. And actually, just a few minutes ago, an ambulance, and we were told that this ambulance was carrying one person that was rescued out of the cave, and it just entered the hospital. So we are not allowed to be near the hospital at all. They have really strict security around there. So this is the hospital where 12 teens and their coach are being treated after they were trapped in a flooded cave for almost 2 weeks. On Sunday, a couple of days ago, the first rescue operation successfully rescued 4 boys out of the cave. Since then, another 4 was rescued yesterday, and 5 were rescued today along with their coach, with 19 divers we know that entered the cave today. As you can see, they're just putting up barriers of the areas that they are sterilizing. We know that we are expecting more ambulances to arrive in the next few minutes or so, and they are going to enter the hospital. And as you can imagine, this was a very high-risk rescue operation. The entire operation was completed in 3 days, mainly because it takes nearly 20 hours to prepare all of the oxygen tanks they used inside the cave to rescue the boys. Today they released 5 people, which is more than yesterday and the day before. According to authorities here on ground in this hospital that you are seeing right now, they are relatively in good condition, but they are still under special watch in case of any kinds of infections. For a few days, their family members were actually not allowed to have any physical contact with them because authorities and doctors just want to make sure that these boys did not pick up any infection while they were in the cave. You have to understand, they were in the cave for 9 days before they were found, and then another week. They were found last week, so it was a total of almost 2 weeks that they were inside this cave, and so they are still cautious about direct contact with even family members. They just want to make sure the kids do not pass on any infection that they might have picked up. But so far, doctors say that there are no diseases found, although the boys are expected to be in the hospital at least for another week. So let's recap a little about what happened. The 12 boys and their coach were trapped inside the Tham Luang cave from June 23rd. They entered the cave as part of their adventurous expedition after their soccer practice game. And because the weather has been pretty unpredictable in the past few weeks, trapped inside because of monsoon flooding, and so they were not able to get out of the cave, and that led rescuers to search for them, and they didn't find them until around 9 days later, and they were to arrive. One just actually arrived a couple of minutes before we started this whole thing, and we know that it was only one person that was taken in that ambulance, and when that ambulance was passing by, it was greeted with a lot of cheers here by the media. As you can see, there are a lot of media from all over the world here. We are not allowed to be within a few meters from the hospital, but we're all around this area, and we can get you as much and as many updates as we can. And of course, we are live on many of CGTN's social media platforms, including Facebook. So if you have any questions that you want to ask, I'm reading some of your comments right here. I have my phone right here, and I will try to answer your questions as much as I can. So we just want to show you again the hospital where the boys are being treated right now. 12 boys and their soccer coach. Now, as you can imagine, this entire operation brought so many people together from all around the world. There were a lot of international help that came in and that are still coming in. Many foreign rescue divers were involved alongside Thai divers, of course. It took at least 2 divers to help one child navigate through the dangerous and narrow passageways inside the cave. It's a very complicated operation, not just because of the outline of the cave, but also how the oxygen levels inside the caves are so low. It reached as low as 15% in the past week. So what you're looking at right now is the hospital where the 12 boys and their soccer coach are being treated. 4 of the boys were rescued on Sunday, which was 3 days ago. Another 4 was rescued yesterday, and then another 5 was rescued today along with their coach. And we also know that the divers and the Navy SEAL that helped the boys survive for another week after they were found after 9 days. They were they also emerged out of the cave today. So earlier I was talking about how the oxygen levels inside the cave could reach as low as 15%. And that was the reason why a former Thai Navy SEAL died during the rescue effort last Friday. He was on a mission to put oxygen canisters along the route. But unfortunately, he died because of lack of oxygen. So that kind of gives you an idea of how complicated this entire operation was. So you can hear the cheers happening right now. I think the ambulance is arriving to the hospital. You should have known before. All right, so we are hearing the cheers. We can see that another ambulance is arriving to enter the hospital. You can see how excited everybody is around this area. They're very happy that this story has such a wonderful outcome and such a positive outcome. And it was a rescue effort of people from all around the world. So that is the second ambulance that have entered the hospital, I want to say, in the past 15 minutes. Excuse me. Okay, I think we're seeing another one arriving from the sound of the cheers. Excuse me. The police have really sterilized that area to make sure that no media can come super close to the hospital. But I also want you guys to know that even amid this celebration and how everybody's so happy, people are still thinking about the former Thai Navy SEAL that did pass away last Friday trying to save the lives of these boys inside the cave. So you can see that the streets over here are actually opened again, and I think that's because that was the last ambulance to arrive for the night, because now that there is activity here on the streets, we know that no ambulance is going to arrive in the hospital anymore for tonight. So now in the next couple of days, the authorities' main priority is just to make sure that the boys that are in the hospital right now can be nursed back to proper health. They are doctors and nurses, and their families, of course, are making sure that these boys can get back to their normal routine as fast as possible. I was actually told that the boys asked the doctors if they were allowed to watch the World Cup, which I believe is in the next week, but unfortunately the doctor said no, you're gonna have to only watch it on television, but at least they get chocolate in there. So it's a really, really happy ending to a somewhat unpredictable story, I think, in the past 2 weeks. And so right now the authorities' main priority is to make sure that these boys are healthy, that they don't have any form of infection that they might have picked up from the cave, because we also know that blood tests are being sent to Bangkok and results could be out in the next 24 or 48 hours. I'm just going to go to the Facebook page so I can read some of your comments, and if you have any questions, I would be happy to answer them. All right. I think one of the reasons why this story is making headline news and why this story is so important right now is because it shows how when people come together from all walks of life, from different backgrounds, that you can make a positive change. And this was certainly an international effort. We have foreign rescue divers from Australia, from the UK, and they worked very, very hard, tirelessly for weeks to find these boys, and then eventually in the past 3 days working around the clock to rescue them and help them out of the cave. All right, guys, I think that's all the time that we have for today. Thank you for watching, and keep tuning in to all of CGTN social media platforms, because I'm going to be here in Chiang Rai giving you the latest updates on what's next with these boys and their coach. Thanks for watching.